right, we're getting started. As soon as I can find the scamity interview.
I gotta start with this.
All right. Going live on Instagram.
Man, I'm tired of being right. Captain's log.
Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
Well, by God, welcome to the show. Oh, my overhead light is on and my other ones are off. Look at this. What kind of crazy talk? There we go. Much better. How you doing? I just got back from the vet because our dear beloved Chip has been throwing up for the last couple of days. And we were mixed on whether it was his food or something else. And then he always, he barfed up his regular food, and then he was throwing up in the middle of the night a little bit. And he's a big, chunky boy, so he's got room to lose some weight. So it's not like he was in any imminent danger. He was not going to be short of any, extra calories, as it were, sitting around. But I took him to the vet today anyways, and $600 later, he's going to be fine. We get x-rays back tomorrow, and they're doing blood work to see if there's something wrong with him. But yeah, it was 4 days of him not being able to keep down solid food. So we were growing concerned after the first 24 hours, and then So it was a necessary trip. And I got to say, he was so good for his first a big cat trip out of it. They did make fun of the fact that he is a chunk. He weighs 16 pounds, but he's a big cat, so it's okay. And he's apparently there is nothing wrong with his kidneys at all.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Ah, I see. Yes, Chip is not quite 4 years old. And hi, chat room, by the way. You're welcome to House Parks Megaworldwide. I feel like I know you guys so well, I don't even go with an introduction in the show half the time, because you should know by now. You should have subscribed by now. You should be aware. Oh, thank you, Adam. That's very sweet. It was a big one. It was a substantial vet bill for Chip, but he's fucking worth it. And anyways, on his way back, he did evacuate himself, the number onesies, in his little crate So there was a bathing adventure upon his return home, which was almost as traumatic as the trip to the hold on, let's see if I have to the trip to the vet. You might even be able to hear it in the car on the way there. I think little poor guy. He was just, yeah.
I know, bud. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. Sorry, buddy. It's okay.
No, we were full service.
Smelly place. Does it smell wrong?
I mean, as long as
Was he okay? I know.
Yeah, little meows where he's like, "Where the hell am I?" So they gave him an anti-nausea shot and some sensitive belly food, and hopefully that will make sure he keeps food down until we get if there's any other test results to get back. I feel like he's going to be okay. I really do. He didn't lose. He wasn't lethargic. He wasn't mopey or anything. He's been very cuddly lately, so he's definitely feeling pitiful, but he wasn't like a mess. You know what I mean? He wasn't like limp or, foaming at the mouth or any of those kind of things. Those things, when they happen to a cat, that's emotionally rough. And hi, chat room, and thank you guys for the love and support and being sweet and all that kind of stuff. And oh my goodness, thank you for the Canadian super chat, Tobias, for the chip in. And Adam and Wifflepoof subscribed. Look at that. And Jen, thank you again so much. Also, the question asked is, when does all this waste, fraud, and abuse money they're taking go back to the American people? Do we get a check? Better social programs? Now, Jen is asking a very good question, because Elon Musk has floated this bullshit idea that they're going to refund $5,000 back to the average person. The problem is he did not check in with this dickhead. And Trump's idea for that refund, for that leftover money, he's going to save all that money from these programs. Why is he doing it? Well, he's doing it so that he can give it to a giant, I enjoy the technocracy, excellent. He's doing it so he can give a giant tax break to his rich friends. He wants to extend the big corporate tax cut and the super rich people tax cut. Now, look, I know what you're going to say. He looks kind of disassociated and he looks like he's in pain. But if you've never seen a ventriloquism show before, this is often, once you set the puppet down on a chair, it really is this awkward moment. It's like that movie Magic with Sir Anthony Hopkins. So this is I think this is the first of 3 chapters of this craziness. Yeah, Trump is, I will say, I've often said, if I'm when he's done, I'll try. Oh, Brian, thank you so much. He doesn't get through, or if he gets through all of it, I have other stuff as well. Oh, fantastic. Thank you, Brian. I will. We'll do we'll toss to you when I'm done. I'll try and wrap it up tight tonight. Tight. All right. So this, you could tell this asshole is not enjoying being attached to this dickhead at the hip. And I would say, the secret to life is finding joy in the things you cannot change. If there is a constant in the universe or a circumstance outside your control, seek what's funny about it. Seek what's affirmative about it. Seek what you can learn from it. Yes? 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 You understand? And that's what whenever I see these two together, I just know that this asshole thinks he has to attach his buggy to this moron to get power, and this guy feels the same way. Actually, he just feels embarrassed that he's got to sit next to someone who he has admitted is very smart, and it ain't him. Fantastic. So here we go. Exclusive interview, President Trump, Elon Musk, Hannity, Chapter 1. The no lube interview.
So he's working for free with Doge. He's kind of put a lot of his life on hold, and
sorry, Musk is putting his life on hold? First of all, no, he fucking isn't. He's on Twitter all fucking day. I have a video. Rob Glenn and I spoke today, and I've got a video, like, for the first time on Friday we're going to do kind of this format a little bit with some Elon Musk's stuff. Just so, and Rob's going to watch it beforehand so he knows what I'm talking about in terms of this. But it's some very telling shit. And you have to understand that he's not doing any of this Doge shit. He's set his little fucking minions on it, and he spends all day, every day on Twitter just yelling at people and like retweeting shit.
You sued Twitter a number of years ago. You just made him pay you $10 million?
That's right. That's right.
That's
well, I sued from long before he had it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they really did a number on me, you know. And I sued, and they had to pay. They paid $10 million settlement.
You're okay with that?
I mean, I left it up to the lawyers and you know the team running Twitter. So I said, you guys do what you think is the right. It makes sense.
Because he doesn't run Twitter. He's just on Twitter. He has rich guy privileges of the platform. He doesn't run Twitter. It's not even, I would argue, run at all. It's kind of on autopilot.
I think it's funny.
I think it's a very low. I was looking to get much more money than that.
So you gave him a discount when the lawsuit.
He got a big discount. I don't think he even knows about it.
He's become one of your. If you read and believe the media.
If you really believe the media, orange is what color your fucking face actually is. And yet when we put you next to another white person and across from a third white person, it looks fucked up. It looks really, you look like a fucking pumpkin. You look like a fat, whingy old pumpkin, I think is what Hannity's going to say.
He's become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
Also,
well, I love the president. I just want to be clear about that.
I don't care about that.
I know. I love the president.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man, and he's, you know.
It's nice the way he said that. You know, there's something nice about it.
It really is.
Yeah, it's certainly not. It's exactly the way he talks about you behind your back. I just want you to know that. I want you to know that that anybody who so openly kisses your ass during a mildly contentious interview that you somehow have to have with this motherfucker, that I guarantee he absolutely feels this way and doesn't talk to the guys on the Doge team like you're a fucking moron. An orange moron also.
You know, because, I mean, the president's
high as a fucking kite.
been so unfairly attacked in the media. It's really outrageous.
No. I don't want to hear shit about boohoo fucking Trump. Listen to me. Listen to me for 1 second. Maggots, join in. Anybody who's watching this, Rumble, hi, welcome. Come on in. All 9 of you that actually live in the United States and watch the Rumble network and pretend to be conservatives and spend your... Come here. Come here for a second. How long would it take you to realize Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile if you were friends with him? How long? A year? 2 years? 3? 7 years? 8 years being friends with this guy, never living more than a 9-minute cab ride apart. Your house in Florida, your house in New York, 9-minute cab ride max in heavy traffic. You always live that close to the dude. You hang out all the time. You share each other's fucking planes. How long would it take you? Anybody? Anybody in the chat room? Anybody? How long would it take you? 10 years? 12? What if I gave you 15 years? 18 years? 20 years? Would it take you 22 years? Would it take you 25 years and you still lied about it? You still doubted it. And not only did it take you 25 years, but it was only after he was tried and convicted. And then you still wish the woman who procured his victims for him well in prison. I don't want to hear it. Not a much maligned fuck you. The Ukraine war is not over no matter how much he tries to undermine the peace process and fuck up Ukraine. It's not over. It's not going to be over. Gaza was going to happen because of Trump's actions, not because he wasn't in power. Who says I'd make a good Bond villain? Thanks very much, Baldano. I'll take that as a compliment.
And I've at this point spent a lot of time with the president, and not once have I seen him do something that was mean or cruel or wrong.
Yeah, that's because A, you agree with the mean, cruel, and wrong shit he's doing, So you don't think it's mean, cruel, or wrong. You just think it's, well, you know, you got to do something. You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. So, of course, you wouldn't see it as mean, cruel, or wrong. And secondly, you're only around him when he's surrounded by fucking sycophants. People who are kissing his ass all the time, Dumbo.
Not once.
You know, I've known him for 30 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you guys used to share a fixer. Michael Cohen used to scrape up your messes. It's truly a match made in heaven.
I've never seen anybody take as much as he's taken.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Of course, well, you know what? I take it back. That was wrong of me. Let me walk that back, if I may. I'm certain that in Sean Hannity's circle, the stuff that Trump has had to go through looks bad by comparison. Because this motherfucker has never, ever known anyone who lost their house to medical bills or were denied a job because they were gay or black or a woman or, you know, I mean, if you live in a circle of people who went to elite universities, are super fucking rich, go to the fucking Hamptons and decry the Washington bubble for a fucking living while and the mainstream media while being on the biggest cable network there is, maybe he's telling the truth. Maybe Sean Hannity, that's how fucked up and limited and bubble wrapped his goddamn life is, that he has never seen somebody go through anything worse than what Trump has gone through, which apparently is having to face like the legal ramifications of his fraud and crimes and his own failures. Let's not forget his bankruptcies and his fucked up casino and steaks and water and football and his airline and all that shit, right? Also, why are they both doing the Illuminati vagina hand signal? What? Nobody's... Maggots, you're not going to freak out about that? Alex Jones, where the fuck are you? I know you're on the way to the clinic to get another Ozempic suppository. You're not going to point that out because when Obama did it, you said it was proof that he was part of the global elite and he was planning on a one world government. But when these fuckers do it, it's just that they're presenting their vagina to the dominant male who's asking them questions. It's like weird gorilla shit. Don't attack me. I have a vagina. I have a hand vagina. Don't attack me.
And we've discussed this, and I'm like, how do you deal with it?
Did I have a choice?
Well, you would say that to me. I'm like, what am I going to do? Worry about it? And, you know, and then culminating in 2 assassination attempts, which result.
Oh, no. Fuck off. No, it didn't culminate in 2 assassination attempts. First of all, both of those guys liked him. The last guy voted for him, never got near firing a shot towards him. And the other guy was a Republican maggot gun enthusiast. So it didn't culminate in anything. That none of them went, oh shit, he's a fraud. This is all, you know, it's the Russia thing. I've got to put an end to this. The fuck out of here. Culminating.
That in your endorsement.
Well, I was going to do it anyway, but that was
it.
Precipitating event, yeah.
That speeded it up a little bit?
Yeah.
The day of the assassination.
I didn't know that.
Okay, but yeah, he wasn't gonna, he's like, I was gonna endorse him. So the whole thing about like Twitter should be, you know, balanced and apolitical, nonpartisan, all that was horseshit. He was planning on doing it even without the assassination attempt, which he said was the reason that put him over the top. That's now we know he's telling us a lie always was.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, Hal, did you trim your hair recently? No, it was wet this morning and I didn't get a chance to blow dry it. So when it falls and it gets curly, just lies down a little bit better. So
It's sped up, but I was going to do it anyway.
Mr. President, with your indulgence, I'm convinced that people only know a little bit about Elon. I don't think they know.
Yeah, they only know that he's been promising self-driving cars that would act as taxis since 2010 or some shit, you know, and hasn't done it. They only know him from his, you know, 4th generation robot behind everybody else's that both times he's done big displays. The first time it was a person in a suit, and the second time they were being puppeted by controllers. And maybe they don't know that he made his fortune because, just like you did, he inherited it from his parents and then had a giant fuck you cushion of money that allowed him to invest in parts of the dot-com bubble that would stick around.
Everything about Alon, because as I studied and prepared for this interview, I learned a lot about you that I didn't.
I didn't know Sean. Hey, Sean, I didn't know you studied up on it. Did you watch my little special show about his grandfather being a technocrat? Probably not. Yeah, I think you'd enjoy it if you have some sort of sedative.
No, I think people will think about Tesla. Democrats are demonizing you and trying to make the country hate you.
No, I don't give a fuck if the country hates him. I'm trying to point out what he's doing is wrong and that he's completely untrustworthy. I give a fuck. Here's the thing. You don't even have to emote about it, dumb fuck. You don't even have to go, God damn it, it makes me mad. Like, no, I just think from a legal standpoint and a privacy standpoint, unelected people in the government who haven't been either appointed or taken an oath shouldn't have access to the private machinations of our treasury or people's Social Security accounts, because it's private and not to be given away for free to a head of industry because he's friends with the fucking president who is dozing off.
I just want people to understand you a little bit better. And
oh, this is going to be good. That was a Roman salute, okay, first, okay?
the person that you've gotten to know and have now put a lot of trust in.
No. He hasn't put trust in him. He's outsourcing shit to him so that if it goes badly, he can blame him. This is Trump Delegation 101.
And, just let's go over a little bit of your bio, starting with PayPal and how you became involved in Tesla. And
Trump's like, what's PayPal? Is that how people buy groceries? Is this how they pay their pal?
SpaceX and Neuralink.
You mean all the government contracts?
And all these.
Well, I mean, I think the way to think of me is like I'm a technologist and I try to make technology.
Mm-hmm. He's dropping that phrase, technologist.
Technologies that improve the world and make life better.
Your shirt.
Yeah, and that's why I like my T-shirt says tech support, because I'm here to provide the president with technology support. And now that may seem like, well,
stupid, because you don't actually know anything about the material aspects of the technology yourself. You know basically enough about it to discuss it at cocktail parties.
Is that a silly thing? But actually, it's a very important thing, because the president will make these executive orders, which are very sensible and good for the country.
Like which one? The one where he fired all the people that oversee our nuclear stockpile and then tried to hire them back, or?
But then they don't get implemented, They
don't get implemented? Is that because they're not actual bills? Okay.
If you take, for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order. Hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants.
Yeah, that's not what that was for. During the pandemic, a lot of hotels you wouldn't be surprised, were empty, especially in tourist areas because no one was traveling. And the government subsidized those hotels to keep them afloat. And one of the ways they did it was by housing migrants and other folks in there. That's how it worked. And as that comes to an end, that's what would come to an end. That was the temporary part. Once they could start operating as a hotel again, then they're expected to.
It makes no sense. Like, obviously people do not want.
It makes total sense, because those hotels would have gone under during the pandemic, or we would have had to pay them to stay open and empty, which makes even less sense.
Their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals.
I agree. I think we should have spent that money keeping low-end hotels afloat. But apparently they didn't need any help. Apparently it was the high-end touristy hotels that were having a hard time. The regular hotels had people in them.
And
yes,
yet they were
yes, and homeless people too. Well, crazy insane alien, the mid-level ones, and this isn't necessarily in New York City, which is what their focus is on here, but across the United States, one of the ways the government kept a lot of like hotels and motels around the country in business was that they allowed them to house what was effectively temporary Section 8 housing.
still doing that, even as late as last week. And so, we went in there and we're like, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the Doge team is just.
Yeah, it didn't happen. That's not how it worked. They didn't fucking drive down to the hotel in New York and go, everybody out! The fuck out of here.
Making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out.
No, that's not your job. You don't even have that job. The entire White House administration can't do that. You don't have the right to do that. They have to be determined to be legal before they're carried out at all. This is just dumb.
And this is, I just want to point out, this is a very important thing because the president is the elected representative.
Sorry, asshole. I thought you were supposed to just go through the books and find the waste, fraud, and abuse. And then, because Congress handles the purse strings, hand over that information to the Doge Committee in the House and the Senate, and then they would write up some fuck this, we're not paying this anymore bill, and the president could sign it. And then it would actually be law, and it would stay within the constitutional structure of our country. And then when people sued because their money was taken away because they had a contract, the Congress could go, no, we signed a bill into law, and this law is this reason, and the SCOTUS could uphold that instead of him just writing an executive order where now when people sue, it's going to cost the fucking government and the taxpayer more money because it didn't go through a standard legal process, which, by the way, it would have sailed fucking through.
Representative of the people. So it's representing the will of the people. And if the bureaucracy is fighting the will of the people and preventing the president from implementing what the people want, then what we live in is a bureaucracy and not a democracy.
No.
And he wants a technocracy.
You're both aware, you have to be keenly aware, that the media and the punditry class, not.
You are the media, dumbass. Oh my God, this is aggravating. I think I hate Sean Hannity more than these other two assholes. You are the media. You're on one of the top 3 highest rated cable networks in the country all the time, no matter what position you're in, and you're interviewing the richest man in the world and the president of the United States, and you've got the president's fucking cell phone number on your phone. You can call him and he calls you anytime. Don't give me this shit about media elites. Jesus Christ.
I think you've proven they have no power anymore. Because they threw everything they had at you, and they didn't win. And that was, the New York Times, Washington Post, 3 networks, every late-night comedy show, 2 cable channels. They just...
Yeah, 2 of them. While the other one and the 9 other subsidiary, like Fox, I was about to say Fox Light, but they're not really like zero-calorie Fox, which would be like Newsmax, RSBN, RAV, fucking... the Flashpoint, the Copeland Network, all that shit.
They threw everything.
Well, those folks were pushing back and sort of evening it out. All right. And Rogan and whatever.
Fair weaponization.
Sure.
And now I see they want you two to start. They want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And
what is this, a fucking intervention?
And they try. Oh, President Elon Musk, for example.
Ouch! Oh, that's not. Sean, who paid you? Come on. Who did it? Was it Fugelsang? Fugelsang, did you promise Sean Hannity something in exchange for dropping that in his lap? Because Musk is enjoying hearing that and thinks it's funny and cute or whatever. Trump does not want this shit mentioned in front of Musk and his buddy Hannity in the fucking White House. At all. Oh. So hold on. First of all, he's falling asleep. Secondly, this.
Two to start hating each other, and they try. Oh, President Elon Musk, for example. You do know that they're doing that to you.
Oh, I see it all the time. They tried it, then they stopped. That wasn't. They have many different things.
No, that one pretty much works. We got President Musk, and they make fun of me a lot. They say a lot of shit about me. That one didn't really work, and they stopped it. So nobody really does that anymore. Really? Did they consult President Musk?
Hatred. Actually, Elon called me. He said, they're trying to drive us apart. I said, absolutely. They said, we have breaking news. Donald Trump has ceded control of the presidency to Elon Musk.
Okay, he's seeing it. There are a lot of things he can't repeat off the top of his head. This is something he has ground on all night. Like, this is making him rub his fucking teeth together. This is so good.
President Musk will be attending a cabinet meeting tonight at 8 o'clock. And I say, It's just so obvious. They're so bad at it. I used to think they were good at it. They're actually bad at it, because if they were good at it, I'd never be president. Because I think...
Well, the point is, you're not. Musk is president. He basically bought your presidency, and he's in charge, and you're just lucky to be here because of him. And he basically did this so that you could, you could stay out of jail, like he was throwing you a bone,
Nobody in history has ever gotten more bad publicity than me. I could do the greatest things. I get 98%.
And no, I don't think you could. Obviously, you think you haven't, so that's news. But no, you couldn't. You cannot. There's no point where he's like, I could do the greatest things ever. And by the way, wouldn't it be like I could cure cancer? Like, that's what most people go. I could solve climate change. I could, I could figure out fusion, nuclear fusion, right? I could do I could do all those things, and they'd still hate me. He's like, I could do bunch of good stuff.
Bad publicity. I could do, outside of you and a few of your very good friends, it's like the craziest thing. But you know what I have learned, Elon? The people are smart. They get it.
Yeah, they do, actually.
They get it. They really...
Yeah, they do. They get it. They get it. They get it. What's not to get? He's the president, and you suck. And you suck the president. He considers himself the president, and you're allowed in certain moments to say you're president, and it's kind of cute, you know what I mean? It's kind of, like when it's like a slightly less gross thing they do with like those Jean-Benet Ramsey kids, where they dress them up like Cupid dolls and go, oh, she's like she's all grown up and stuff. That's adorable and yet also creepy. So it's very much like that.
Really see what's happening.
Yes,
yes, we do. We see what's happening. You take orders from him. That's what we see. That's like, obviously, this guy gives you orders. That's what happens. Trump, sorry, I'm going to do this on Instagram. Trump takes orders from this guy. That's how it works. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, it's not even that. It's common sense, really. We are the party of common sense. Well, it's more like you want to be the party of common sense. We're like the common sense party. You know what I mean? It's a party over here. There's a party going on right here.
At the end of this interview, what I would like is I want people.
Can everybody just do a reach around? Can you guys suck each other off right on camera so everybody knows mommy and daddy aren't fighting?
People to know the relationship and know more about you.
What do you think the chances are that that's not what happens at all? Also, I got to say, if that's what you want from this interview and you've decided that's what's important in this interview, I guess you're saying there's a problem and that these concerns people are saying, this is taking root. This is bearing fruit. This idea that he's the president, Trump's really the vice president, and he's being controlled. Yeah.
What is the relationship, Mr. President?
Well, I respect him. I've always respected him.
Yeah, I respect him because he taps me on top of the head right before he...
I never knew that he was right on certain things, and I'm usually pretty good at this stuff.
Yeah, on certain things. Sure, right on certain things. What, yeah. I mean, I don't... details.
He did Starlink. He did things that were so advanced and nobody...
Earth orbit satellite cable, like bandwidth level thing, and they all
They knew what the hell they were. I can tell you in North Carolina, they had no communication. They were wiped out. Those people were, you know, they had rivers in between. Land that never saw water, all of a sudden it was a river.
A land that never saw water. I think he thinks every place is Gaza.
And a vicious, like rapids. People.
Yes, and here comes Pete Buttigieg, you know, in a Speedo, in an inner tube, whitewater rafting and fishing at the same time.
Were dying all over. They had no communication. They said, you know, Elon Musk. They didn't really know I knew him. I said, yeah.
What? What the fuck?
He said, could you get Starlink? It's like the first time I ever heard of it. I said, what's Starlink? A communication system. That's unbelievable.
It's quite believable, actually. Amazon's doing Kuiper later this year, and it's going to be actually better than Starlink. Look at him. Look at this. Like, okay, just don't say anything. Yeah, guys, it was a big, strong guy, tears in his eyes, who was asking for Starlink.
I have it.
Yeah, and he said, I called him and I said, listen, they really need it. And he got.
And he goes, what do you mean they really need it? They already have it. The Biden administration has a contract, and they use some of these. The FEMA bought a few of these, and they hand them out. They're there. They're actually there. So, yeah, obviously they have an issue. Some of these old log cabins that run, you know, that have a coal burning fireplace or a coal burning stove to heat the place. It's hard to keep Starlink on, you know, during peak hours.
Like thousands of units of this communication, and it saved a lot of lives. He got it.
Thousands of units of this. They sent like 8
immediately, and you can't get it. I mean, you have to wait a long time to get
it. Well, I don't know. It depends on how long the drive to Best Buy is.
But he got it to him immediately, and I said, that's...
By the way, it's fucking DirecTV. It's just he uses the government's subsidy to put his own satellites in orbit. So he just the Starlink part is the satellites, not the stuff on the ground. And again, why don't you just hand out fucking free DirecTV satellite things? You can do internet on that as well.
Pretty amazing, and I didn't even know he had it. We watched the rocket ships, and we watch Tesla. I think, you know, something that had an effect on me was when I saw the rocket ship come back and get grabbed, like you grab a beautiful little baby. You grab your baby. It just... You
grab your baby when it's falling from the sky?
Hug the rocket.
I've never seen...
Right, everything needs hugging rockets.
No, but... And he said, you know, you can't really have a rocket program if you're going to dump $1 billion into the ocean every time you fly. You have to save it.
Right.
And he saved it. First time that I've ever seen that done. Now, nobody else can do it. If you look at the U.S., Russia, or China, they can't.
Well, and again, your tax dollars at work.
Can't do it, and they won't be able to do it for a long time. He has the technology. So
he also has the cushion of major funding from the U.S. taxpayer.
You learn, I wanted somebody really smart.
And that person was not available. And I honestly don't know that I would know if they were smart if I met them. So
to work with me in terms of the country.
In terms of running the country for you, so you could just golf?
A very important aspect, because, I mean, he doesn't talk about it. He's actually a very good businessman. And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't.
No, you don't.
It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But
no, not necessarily. You look at them and see if they're actually doing what they set out to do, and you can just kind of keep them going if they actually work. You don't just scuttle them for the fuck of it.
I could, as soon as he said that, I said, you know, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive, and you sign it, and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress Much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in
better.
just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So what he's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually
but
literally
he's
am
much
tech
more
support.
than that.
I
Yeah.
literally am tech support, though. But
But
that's
he gets it done.
Actually, he isn't tech support. He's a technocrat, and he wants to basically get access to giant government contracts.
a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech.
Yeah, we know he's a leader. He's the president. You're his vice president. And of course you're going to say that because the vice president should always speak well of the president. I think it's bad form otherwise.
People, and you have people, they're good with tech, but he gets it done. You know, I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering, it would be great, and you say, great, when are you starting? But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing, they couldn't get the approvals, it would never get
You mean the actual architects as opposed to the developer?
done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. You know, they could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done.
No, not the same thing as this.
So when he said that, he said, you know, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and
Yeah.
maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done, get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden, he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
Do a lot of those executive orders have to be codified into law? You need the Republican Congress
and
to
they will
follow
be.
up?
A lot of them will be, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of them won't be.
Well,
Look, in the meantime, we have 4 years. The beauty is we have
You got about 2.
4 years. That's why I like doing it right at the beginning, because an executive order is great. I mean, the one problem, it's both good and bad, because when they did all these executive orders, I've canceled most of them. They were terrible. I mean, we're going to go radical left communist. Okay, it was crazy. They're
Really crazy.
Yeah, you can't turn the United States into a communist country with an executive order. I'm pretty sure. I'm fairly certain the Supreme Court wouldn't approve that.
executive orders were so bad. If they ever got them codified, you'd never be able to break them. So the damage that Biden has done to this country.
Well, I mean, you can repeal a law. You could actually, yeah. I mean, if they didn't work, that's the problem. I think that's what he means. If Biden or Obama's executive orders were allowed to continue, you'd never be able to get rid of them because people appreciate them and they help. Right, that would be the thing, I guess.
Country. And it's not even Biden, it's the people that circled him in the Oval Office, okay?
A little sensitive about the idea of being a puppet president. You kind of sounds like you're projecting a little bit. Everything's projection with this guy, right? I think maybe that's. I've noticed he's mentioned this a lot more around President Musk.
But the damage they did to this country, in terms of, let's say, open borders, you know, there's so many things, but open borders.
There are so many things, you know. I know. You know. Right?
Where millions of people poured into our country, and hundreds of thousands of those people
were sent back immediately and then came back through again and then came back through again. And over the course of it, they, you know, it raised the encounters number, but not the actual number of people in the country. That's what you were going to say, right?
criminals. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're gang members, they're people from prisons from all over the world.
Yes, and most of them were helped here by Russia or by the Republican Party and your supporters to help demonize them so that you could use that to get into office.
And we have
And that's one of the reasons why the numbers have dropped off is because they were artificial to start with.
a great guy, Tom Homan, and he is doing so incredibly. You saw the
You're right. He is doing so uncredibly. I look, I normally don't like it when people coin bullshit words, but this I gotta say, that's a good one. Uncredibly. That nothing explains the work, it describes the work that Tom Homan is doing better than that word.
We have a great guy, Tom Homan, and he is doing so uncredibly. You saw the
Yeah, he is doing so uncredibly. I agree. Very little credibility. So uncredible. You know what I mean. Hold on. Let's Streamlails this guy. No, that's there. Hold on. Things. No, I can't do it in here, can I? All right, close. There we go.
numbers, they're down like 96%.
95%.
He is a phenomenal guy. And Kristi Noem is doing an unbelievable job. And he wanted her. He said, she's so tough. And I said, I don't think of her as that way. You know, she's very nice. He said, no, she's so.
You don't think of him as think of her as tough? I mean, she shot a puppy for just being yappy. I guess that's not tough. That's weak. I mean, I guess you're right. If she'd have choked it to death with her bare hands, that would really show that she was committed to America first.
Tough. And she is. I see with the horses. He's riding the horse. Let's go.
Yeah, she smacks the horse and stuff like that, and I can barely drive a golf cart.
She's great. But the team we have is really unbelievable. But those executive orders, I sign them, and now they get passed on to him and his group and other people, and they're all getting done. We're getting them done.
You're not. I think your executive order about the biggest mass deportation in the country's history is kind of, it's quite frankly, you have a bigger stream pissing in the middle of the night than you do of people leaving the country.
Let me go back a little bit to your background, because it's beyond impressive. You were the chief engineer, for example. You were an early believer in Tesla. You became the CEO.
No, not the chief engineer at Tesla at all. He gives himself these names, you dickhead.
And then the chief engineer, which was phenomenal. SpaceX, same thing.
See, he wants to interrupt him. He's like, well, not chief engineer. This is kind of not really. Which
is unbelievable. I mean,
you're right. It's not believable.
You were the first private company to send astronauts successfully into space. First private company to send astronauts into orbit.
Yeah.
That's pretty deep.
He's going to go into orbit soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, he's going to go to Mars. He's
Starlink.
At some point.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is in over.
They was asking me, like, do you want to die on Mars? And I say, well, yes, but not on impact.
Starlink is in 100 countries.
I don't understand any of this.
This is going to be hard. I feel like I'm interviewing two brothers here.
You go ahead.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Which one's Dragon and which one's Nighthawk?
Star Shield, which could be used for national defense.
Yeah, it is already being used for national defense.
Then you have
Russia, actually. Russia's defense.
What is it called? Optimus, a part of Tesla.
The robot, yeah.
A robotic arm. Then you have an AI.
A robotic arm? You mean an arm of Tesla or something that's robotic? Or does he think it's just an arm? How much? Wait a minute. Sean, I appreciate you being this dumb where we actually have to question the character of your question to try and understand how little you know about what you're talking about. And if you're telling me you just did a big, quick study on this, what the fuck?
Arm. And then you have something that really fascinates
And this is Trump going, it's an arm? Like, no idea.
me. And it's called Neuralink.
Yes.
You might help the blind to see,
yes,
and people with spinal cord injuries that they can recover, where in the past, how close is that becoming?
Yeah, that doesn't mean they're recovering. It's not going to cure their paralysis. It will allow them to send signals to robotics that maybe are around their body as an exoskeleton so that they can move, but it will not fix their spine, stupid. That takes actual science.
Success.
Neuralink, we've implanted Neuralink in 3 patients so far who are quadriplegics, and it allows them to directly control their phone and computer just using their mind, just by thinking. It's like...
Right, because, yeah, that's the priority for them, I think. Not hugging their loved ones or recovering the sensation in the rest of their body. It's a waste of time. Who needs that? So
we call this product telepathy. So you control your computer and phone just by thinking, and it's possible.
You call it telepathy? All right. Well, at least you don't think it's telepathy. I suppose that's okay.
To actually control the computer and phone faster than someone who has working hands. Then the next step would be
Trump has no idea what he's talking about.
To add a second Neuralink implant past the point where the neurons are damaged.
Hey, speaking of damaged neurons, what do you think the odds are that this motherfucker is annoyed at Sean Hannity right now? Call this telepathy, but that he's annoyed that Hannity is asking this guy more questions than him. I mean, I don't know. Most of the shit about Trump is asked and answered, you know, and Hannity's defense of him is pathetic and, quite frankly, silly. So I can understand where this is what people want to know. I'm enjoying, personally, watching Trump sitting quietly while Musk talks. I think that is, again, one of the small victories, one of the silver linings of all this is this man's misery as he slowly turns into Greg Kelly to Elon Musk's Trump in this moment.
So that somebody can walk again, and so they can have full body functionality restored. And
you like Bobby, right?
I like Bobby, actually, yeah. I think I supported.
Tell him how you're okay with Bobby, and so I'm allowed to do Bobby.
Bobby Kennedy. I think he's unfairly maligned as someone who is anti-science, but I think he isn't. He just wants to question the science, which is.
You're right. He's not anti-science. He's pro-junk science, which is worse.
The essence of the science, the scientific method, fundamentally, is about always questioning the science.
Oh, they didn't.
No, it isn't. The scientific method is not about questioning the science. As a matter of fact, once you actually prove something that is safe and effective and doesn't cause autism, for example, you don't keep questioning the science after you've established it and it's been used for decades and it's saving lives, because you will create the illusion, especially if you're in a position of power or influence, that all these fuckers are, you know, dangerous. You could kill people. You could just make people die by questioning the science. Also, no one, I think it applies in this form. Question gravity all you want, but if you're going to test it, don't jump off a roof. Yeah? Is that okay? And what Bobby, what RFK Jr. is doing is effectively asking every child to trust him and jump off a roof. And he's like, I'll catch you.
You tell us the truth about COVID.
Correct.
That's for sure.
Yes.
And we learned a lot with the Twitter files.
Did you? What did you learn? That most of the shit that happened was under Trump?
And that just then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. Yeah. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time. But
that's why.
But he's on your team.
President.
Whoa! Wait! Listen to what Elon said.
Then raises a question. You're the richest man in the world. You may not like that part. Yeah. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time. But you may not like that part. Yeah. You're pretty competitive.
It's neither here nor there.
I've known you a long time. But
that's why.
But he's on your team. Well, that's true.
He overlapped it. And again, with AI, it's not like that even matters, because he knows it's the end of capitalism. Maybe, is that what he's trying to argue? Neither of these guys would understand it, so it seems like he abandons it.
You can't top that.
He's good. You know, I wanted to find somebody smarter than him. I searched all over. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You really tried hard.
I couldn't find anyone smarter, right? So.
You couldn't find anyone smarter that agreed with you on policy and procedure, because you have to be fucking dumb. Of course there's a glass ceiling on the intellect of your cabinet and the people you consider smart. You think he's smart because he's this rich. If he had to pass rigor on all of his investments like everybody else does that starts from scratch and didn't get this like fuck you cushion from his parents, you wouldn't even know his fucking name.
We had it for the country.
But this is the thing.
We settled on this.
Well, thanks for having me.
So
I'm just trying to be useful.
But this is the interesting. This is where we are as a society, and I
look at Trump. Isn't this great? It's great. I said something important here. I made kind of a joke. He likes it. I mean, he knows I'm fucking with him, doesn't he? Yeah.
I hate to do this to you, but I'm going to do it anyway. You're doing all of these things. Nobody at Doge gets paid a penny, correct?
Well, actually, some people are federal employees.
Some are,
they do-
okay.
Yeah,
They're helping.
But it's fair to say that the software engineers at Doge could be earning millions of dollars a year, and instead of earning a small fraction of that as.
Right. So, and it's just because they love the country, or because the access to the kind of information you're getting is worth billions, if not trillions, over a lifetime. You could literally, like, after this is over, all these guys could be hired just for the fucking, like, I don't know, thumb drive they shoved up their ass in the men's room when they were visiting the Treasury.
Federal employees.
Okay, so just.
And they're very committed people.
So
Yes.
you're.
Yes, they're committed to hacking the Treasury. Cool.
You're committed to helping the blind see, people with spinal cord injuries recover.
Yes.
You're committed to getting.
No, he's committed to chipping 2 billion people and giving them access to and starting the singularity. This is transhumanism. He's committed to that. But the only way to that is experimenting on quadriplegics.
To Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an
Yeah, they were, what were they, wearing MAGA hats?
interview.
When
At the
are you getting them?
president's request, or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there. They were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were
Yeah.
Yes, they were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good.
Really? They're just being, why did they put out a Trump yard sign?
Now, if I had the weight of the pressure of doing that successfully on my shoulders, I think I'd be, but.
Yeah, don't worry, Sean. Don't worry your thumb-shaped little head over this. Don't at all. Just let it go, man, because you have, I guess, the privilege, that's the only word I can think of, the privilege of living a life that is completely devoid of meaning. In any depth whatsoever, what Sean Hannity does on this turning fucking marble in the middle of space is far more meaningless than any of us out here. Very little sound and fury, a huge waste of fucking time, and nothing, there will never be responsibility, genuine responsibility on Sean Hannity's shoulders. Any more than anybody else, certainly, but definitely not in terms of what he does for a living. I mean, except, I suppose, this is a lot of pressure. He's got to convince maggots that the guy who wants to put a chip in everybody's brain and the rich New Yorker who joked about fucking his own daughter a bunch of times and his other daughter's tits before she was born is the perfect combination of Christianity and conservatism.
When we spoke before we did this interview, you are very confident. You think this will be a successful mission.
Well, we don't want to be complacent, but we have brought astronauts back from the space station many times before, and always with success.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Who's we?
as long as we're not complacent.
When are you going to launch?
Yeah, well, I got you here. It's so, you know what? That's the thing. They're so close. It's the closeness that I think a lot of us are reacting to emotionally.
I think it's about 4 weeks to bring them back.
About 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And
We're being extremely cautious. Yeah.
You now have the go-ahead.
Yes. Well, thanks to you.
They didn't have the go-ahead with Biden.
What's that?
He was going to leave him in space. I think he was going to leave him in space.
Well, it's like
He
we
considered
were
it
growing
like-
up, lost in space.
Yeah, he didn't want the publicity. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable.
Well, I guess we'll see after the successful mission. I guess it is. There's a lot of difficult stuff in this, and I guess you're just going to blow that shit off and throw your little rocket up there and just, free ball it.
Unbelievable. And so
Yeah.
I want to echo something that the president said and then ask an overarching question.
Okay, by the way, yes, everybody clock that 4 weeks from now. Yeah? Okay. Mid-March, the Ides of March. Beware the return of the astronauts.
So people get hit with Hurricane Helene. They have no communication with the outside world. You come to the rescue. You donated that? I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
Okay. You donated to the people.
He saved a lot of lives.
And
There you go. All right, there you go. If I may. September 30th, 2024. FEMA deploys Starlink in North Carolina for disaster relief operations. Federal Emergency Management Agency has announced that it is deploying 40 Starlink satellite internet systems to help North Carolina as the state deals with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. The agency stated that the Starlink kits would be used to aid the responder communications. An additional 140 Starlink satellite kits are also being shipped to assist with communication infrastructure restoration. FEMA added that one Starlink will be deployed per county emergency operations center to assist with communications and containment of government. Interestingly enough, FEMA's announcement came as GOP presidential candidate stated that he had spoken to SpaceX CEO Elon Musk about setting up Starlink in areas affected by Hurricane Helene. They've already been there. They were already there. Here's the Musk sending Starlink terminals. There you go. To North Carolina. This is the Hill following up on it. So Tuesday, the aerospace company was setting since the Hurricane Helene disaster, SpaceX has sent as many Starlink terminals as possible to help the areas. Early today, real Donald Trump alerted me to additional people who needed Starlink internet in North Carolina. We are sending them terminals right away. Additional people who need Starlink internet was already happening. It's like, oh, you need 12 more? Okay, we'll send them and I'll give you credit for it. That was bullshit.
North Carolina, he saved a lot of lives.
And California after the wildfires?
California, but I mean, in North Carolina, where they were really in trouble, they had no communication. People were dying.
They had communication.
They were dying of starvation.
No one died of starvation. No one in North Carolina died of starvation. You're a fucking crazy person. That's just idiotic. No one died of starvation. You're a silly person. This is just dumb. I mean, say people got like washed away in the flood or couldn't reach people or something, because that was at least marginally true during the flooding itself. Nobody starved to death, you absolute tit.
He saved a lot of lives in North Carolina.
Okay, now you're going to rescue astronauts. And now...
We'll see. I don't know. Well, I don't want to jinx it.
And again, you do all of this. I would think liberals would love the fact that you have the biggest electric vehicle company in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I used to be adored by the left,
Yeah, not anymore.
Less so these days.
Yeah, that was pre-Nazi salute.
That, huh?
I mean, less.
I really didn't know.
Well, I mean, this whole sort of like,
Yeah, shush. You're not the real president. Shh. I said, did a little.
They call it like Trump derangement syndrome, and I don't. You don't realize how real this is until like you can't reason with people.
Until you go, I don't know what the big deal is. You and I used to party with Ghislaine all the fucking time. She would bring chicks. Some of them were on the young side. For you.
People. So like I was at a friend's birthday party in LA, just a birthday dinner, and everything was like a nice, quiet dinner, and everyone was behaving normally, and then
can we just enjoy for a second? 1 second. That Hannity brings up the whole President Musk thing. He's dominating the conversation. And then this is going to be a conversation about how Elon Musk was at a fancy dinner party with friends because he allegedly has some. Trump has none. And somebody's going to go, God, Trump sucks. He's going to bring this up.
I have to mention, this is before the election, like a month or two before. I have to mention the president's name. And it was like they got shot with a dart in the jugular that contained like methamphetamine and rabies, okay? And they're like, wow! And I'm like, what is wrong? Like, guys, like, you can't have like a normal conversation.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like they become completely irrational.
He has no.
Or they are reacting to your lizard-like, I guess, dislocation of any ethics and morals around what Trump is planning on doing, what he says he's going to do, how he acts, how he's acted in the past, and the gross shit he says and does all the time. Maybe they just care. Maybe you don't understand what this looks like because you don't give a fuck about anything. But maybe this is what caring looks like to them because they're worried about women and trans people and immigrants and minorities and the economy and that maybe tariffs are going to pass the costs on to the consumer at a bad time.
Idea, but if you're friends with him,
Yeah.
you pay a price. You know, it's like I walk into a restaurant.
This is kind of good, though. This part I like. So Sean Hannity and Elon Musk are commiserating in front of Trump that it sucks to be associated with him. That's kind of magic, I gotta say. Like, a lot of this is annoying, gross, and sick, but that's pretty fucking funny that Trump is just sitting there quietly while these two guys talk about how when they go to places where there are actual people, everybody's like, fuck that guy. You like that guy? What's wrong with you? You hang out with him? He's fucking gross. What a cretin.
In New York, and it's like half the room it's daggers, and they want to.
No, the eye daggers level is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like.
It's like they're laughing in front of a child that's just been told to sit quietly. So good. It's so good.
I had like some invitation because I
Tell another story how you were in a room and everybody hated Trump.
got invited to basically a big sort of damn event that was, but it received the invitation like the beginning of last year, and I still attended even after I'd endorsed President Trump, and I didn't realize how profoundly that would affect how I was received.
Really? Yeah, right in front. These guys are both laughing about how people really fucking hate this guy. Like, yeah, I'm amazed. Like, even knowing what I know and watching as much news and spending as much time on Twitter as I do, I was like, wow, they fucking hate you, dude. Jesus. And like people that are really cool, like that you'd want, like people that are so fucking cool and interesting and attractive that, I would even still go to their thing, even when I have sided against their political opponent, even when I'm gone to the other side, I literally still want to go to their parties because they fucking rock. It's like the place to go, you know what I mean? And those people fucking can't stand you, bro. Oh my God.
I walk into the room and I'm getting just the dirty looks from everyone. Like,
because of this guy.
If looks could kill, I would have been dead several times over.
But that was not before Trump.
Be like, just be ashes on the floor.
Before Trump, that never happened, right?
No.
Yeah, before Trump, nobody gave a shit. They were just like, I don't know, hey, what's going on, weird, creepy asshole? But shit, it's now that you're hanging out with him. Whew. All right, this is round 2. Let's see. Burr, burr, burr. Beg your pardon. God damn. So good. By the way, chat room, hit the like, share the show, etc., etc., etc. It's Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. Like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. Chapter 2 of Hannity and Elon Musk mock Trump to his big, dumb, orange face. And I got to tell you, I enjoyed the first part of it. I really did. Like, if you were in that room, can you imagine just the fucking ants on your shoulder feeling of like, ooh, but it could be better. And this one, let's check it out, because this is, maybe they'll try to right the ship a little bit. And again, Hannity stated that his goal in this interview was by the end they understood what this relationship was and how much they're putting themselves in each other's spaces and sharing, okay, and bonding, and from this tension, we're making magic, right? We're making lemonade. Yes? Okay.
Welcome back to Hannity, and we are back.
Oh, and I'm sorry. I think we have a maggot in the Hal. You are still a guy, no matter how hard you try not to be. Yeah. This is. Don, are you one of those guys who sees paintings of Jesus and goes, "What a queer"? Is that the shtick? Is that why your friends don't invite you to church anymore? Get a guy with long hair. Guys don't have long hair, right? Apostle Paul. Oh shit. Fucking hell. All right, anyways, back to this. I'm standing out on the lawn because I've been banished there while Elon Musk and Trump give each other a reach around, says Hannity. Okay, I don't care. All right.
Take a look. This is the $1 million or $1 billion, I'm among billionaires, question. So you have all of this going on, and you stop, in a way. You're still doing it.
So you're not stopping. So stop. So you mean stopping, like in terms of like, if you or anybody else that Michael Cohen cleaned up after, or that guy, if a woman said stop, you'd keep going anyways? That's what you're talking about? All right.
And you partner with him. And this is what you get for it from the Democrat.
Yeah, you partner with him. You guys are partners, okay? You together, okay? You guys are partners, okay? You're sharing, you're caring, you're working together. Obviously, you guys are like this, and Elon's on top, and he's doing this. But it's okay.
You get, nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for any of your cabinet nominees, okay? People...
Yeah, he's not a cabinet nominee. Those have to be vetted by the Senate, so...
are dying because of Doge cuts. I'll give you a chance to respond to all that. What Doge is doing is illegal. Elon Musk is more street vernacular for a male body part. It's a constitutional crisis.
A dick? Really? That's what you're coming up with? That he's a dick? That's the best you can... How about he's a sociopath? I mean, that's really what people's concern is.
Just,
okay. Why are they reacting like this?
Because it's all true. Because this asshole next to you ran on this idea of he was going to cut government, which everybody says when they're running for president, and he basically outsourced the task to you, and you have not been through a Senate approval process. You haven't gotten an FBI background check, any of this kind of shit. You did a Nazi fucking salute. You have businesses with contracts in every area that, you know, with the government in every area you're looking at. And for all this talk about transparency, you are locking the doors behind you and not letting, elected representatives come in and see what you're doing. One would think that even if these people are annoying you because they're yelling for you to stop, you would let them in to see what you're doing so you can go, you guys are yelling about nothing. But instead, you are simply getting inside these very secure facilities, going right past the firewall, as it were, and no one can see what you're doing while you're in there, and you've got this trust me bro attitude. That's why.
Well, first of all, do you give it flying rip, number one? And
well, I guess we must be over the target or doing something right, you know.
No. No, people did not complain about Auschwitz because they were onto something and people were jealous. Stop it. Stop with that shit. Yeah, hey, you're pissing off everybody. You must be doing something right. No, BTK pissed off a lot of people. The Golden State Killer pissed a lot of... The Unabomber wasn't onto something, you dumb motherfucker. People can get pissed because what you're doing is fucked up. This whole idea that, like, if you're getting a bunch of media blowback, it automatically means you're doing something right is, A, wrong, but it's also infantile and quite frankly, it's dismissive of the seriousness of the endeavors you're undertaking. And that alone should be, a reason for disconcerted feelings amongst people.
If they wouldn't be complaining so much if we weren't doing something useful, I think.
Right. That's what David Koresh said. right? I think the Hale-Bop people, they wouldn't try to break into the building if we hadn't cut our balls off and put our shoes under the bed and left to join the giant comet. Shut the fuck up. No, sometimes people are pissed because what you're doing sucks. Right? And again, it's not just Democrats. That's why you're having to rescind a bunch of this shit.
What all we're really trying to do here is restore the will of the people through the president.
It was 78-75 in the popular vote. Simmer. There's a 2-vote margin in the House. There's a 4-vote margin in the Senate, and they already have 6 more senators than they deserve because they have states that have fewer people in them than fucking Louisville, Kentucky.
And what we're finding is that there's an unelected bureaucracy. Speaking of unelected.
Yes, you were not elected. You're a bureaucrat. That's what this is doing. You are penny pinching on behalf of the president and inserting yourself in between the Congress that makes laws and has the power of the purse. You are inserting yourself between those people and their job as representatives, including the Republicans. So again, this is largely about the fact that Republicans are just, not just Trump is acquiescing his power to you and giving over, outsourcing his job to you. So are the Republicans in Congress.
There's a vast federal bureaucracy that is implacably opposed to the president and the cabinet.
Implacably? Really?
And you look at, say, D.C. voting, it's 92% Kamala.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything? The federal workforce isn't even largely in Washington, D.C. And the ones that are congressional staff workers and the like, and the fucking Pentagon. Again, the vast majority of FBI agents aren't even in D.C. They're all over the country.
Okay, so we're in 92% Kamala. That's a lot.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Again, the idea that everybody just... You don't think some of those people work at fucking foreign embassies and the like privately? You think... Sorry, does he think like the restaurants in D.C. are just basically government cafeterias?
They don't like me here either.
I think about that number a lot.
Yeah, nobody likes you, Sean. Yeah, everybody at Fox News when I was there, when I did Red Eye back in the day, when Gutfeld used to at least try to pretend to be funny, failing miserably, but still, at least he put the effort in. I guess he gets points for that. Everybody would talk shit about how awful Sean Hannity was pretty openly. I was kind of shocked. And we were there. It was like 3 of us waiting to do a segment on that, and you could hear Sean Hannity yelling at his wife, his then wife, pretty brutally. I just hear the noise of it, but they were like, "That's Sean. He's yelling at his wife again."
Like 92%. That's basically almost everyone.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, those people aren't federal employees, fuckwad. Do you think do you think congressional staffers drink for free at all the Starbucks? You think they go to fucking Kramer Books and eat for free?
how can you, if the will of the president is not implemented, and the president is representative of the people, that means the will of the people is not being implemented.
Well, he's 78-75, the will of the people. The 75 million that voted against him, that's not their will at all. And we're now finding out that a bunch of people that did vote for him aren't all in on the rest of this shit. So the will of the people kind of is happening. If they're dragging ass a little bit, it's actually a great representation of the kind of soft underbelly and the weak support that he has.
And that means we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. And so I think what we're seeing...
Yeah, he says this all the time, and this is just bullshit. I mean, and again, they're trying to make bureaucracy sexy again because deep state sounds stupid. So he's trying to bring back bureaucracy as this like tired old system. It's a better word for him. Deep state He wants to be the deep state. Trump insists there be a deep state, people behind the scenes who will force things through that are illegal, that will protect the president at all costs. All these things they allege the deep state does. That's what he's expecting from this dickhead.
Seeing here is the thrashing of the bureaucracy as we try to restore democracy and the will of the people. Is this making sense? I mean,
no. You don't thrash the entire structure of government or shut down USAID because you won an election 78 to 75. Again, if it was a basketball game, it'd be 1 3-pointer. The idea that anybody thinks they can run roughshod over the rights and privileges of everybody else in the country is part of the problem. And it's why we have such a fucking whipsaw mentality between the presidency and the midterms.
No, of course it does. I mean, to me, if you look at our framers and our founders, and you really become a student of history, Mr. President.
Really? Yeah, school us. Thrall me with your acumen.
We've had conversations both on air and off air.
Uh-huh. What did he talk about? What was the topic of conversation? Which part was it? Was the Louisiana Purchase so good, and they got all that shrimp with the deal.
And if we talk about constitutional order or transformational change, nobody can argue that what's happening here is it's going at the speed of light. But however, what were the principles of our framers and our founders?
That Congress sets the law, the administration has a limited way to enact the laws and protect the laws and make sure that they're duly executed and direct the tenor of the country while they're president, and then they leave, obviously, when they're done, and that the SCOTUS would be a check on that power to make sure that what the president tried to do and the laws that Congress created would be constitutional, that they did not take away more rights than they gave.
They wanted limited government, greater freedom for the people.
Sure, but I don't think they meant greater freedom for 65 incels who get to freely look at everyone's private financial data.
And we'll get to the specific cutting of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is your goal, is it not?
Yeah, and my goal was to get great people. And when
you can't do that, you got to settle for this dickhead.
look at what this man has done.
Whatever his name is, Leon, I think is his name. Leon Scum Mucus. Leon Mucus, sure.
And it was something, I knew him a little bit through the White House. Originally, I'd see him around a little bit. I didn't.
What? Huh? What do you mean you knew him from the White House? You'd see him around a little bit. He would just come and hang out at the fucking White House during your presidency? What do you have, a fucking hall pass?
Know him before that. And I respected what he did. And he fought hard. He was maybe questioned for a while. He was having some difficulties. It was not easy doing what he did. I mean, how many people have started a car company and made it really successful and made...
Yeah, especially without a giant influx of government money, which is what he got from Obama.
A better car where it's, beating these big companies. That's all they do is cars.
I'm sorry, electric cars, you said they don't go very far and they suck and you can't turn them on when it's cold and nobody wants them?
I mean...
And they're too expensive.
It's really amazing the things that he's done, but I didn't know it as much then as now. I mean, the fruits have sort of taken hold.
I agree. The fruits have taken hold. Yep, he's got you by the plums, Mr. Vice President.
But I wanted great people.
And I saw this guy around the White House occasionally. I was like, how the fuck did you get in here? Who let you in here? And I was like, you want to do something for free?
And he's a great person. He's an amazing person. He's also
this is so touching.
A caring person. He uses the word care. So
he does. He uses the word care. That's true. And most people don't use the word care in Trump circles, to be fair. Caring, the word care, unless they're mocking the Affordable Care Act or any of those kind of things, or the idea of caretakers. That's gross. It's weak, beta, soy.
They sign a contract in a government agency, and it has 3 months, and the guy leaves that signed the contract, and nobody else is there, and they pay the contract for 10 years.
Yeah.
So the guy is getting checks for years and years and years, and he's telling his family, obviously, maybe it was crooked, maybe he paid to get the contract, or maybe he paid that they didn't terminate it. But, you know, we have contracts that go forever.
Then I guess renegotiate the contract, Mr. fucking art of the deal.
And they've been going for years.
Right, without a problem.
And they're supposed to end in 3 months or 5 months or 2 years or something.
Uh-huh.
And they go forever.
Maybe that was the pilot contract, and then once after that, they would just re-up the contract on a regular basis.
So the guy is either crooked, you know, where he knew this was going to happen, or...
Yeah, well, I gotta say, you're talking about that guy? Yeah, that guy is fucking crooked. That guy, they bring him up all the time. The guy who was paid for 3 months to do the thing, and he just kept doing it for like 10 years, and they kept paying him. He's obviously crooked. What, you know, when he did the thing he did. You know what he did. They get paid to, like, he's supposed to only do it for 3 months, and he kept doing it, and we keep paying him to do it. That thing he was doing, which is obviously crooked. That guy, the crooked guy, fucking sad.
Or he's crooked because he's getting payments that he knows he shouldn't be getting. But they're finding things like that. They're finding things.
They're not finding any, there's nothing like that. That's not a thing. To be like that, you'd have to show me the thing, and then you'd have to give me another example of something that is similar. That's just vague claptrap. Who the fuck are you talking about? I'm gonna need some fucking details. I don't even need, razor sharp details. I just need ballpark figures. The actual task at hand might be helpful.
Far worse than that. And they're finding billions, and it will be hundreds of billions of dollars worth.
No, I don't think they will. Nope.
Worth of fraud. I say waste and abuse.
Yeah, you made that phrase up. I think it was genius. Nobody's ever said waste, fraud, and abuse in the history of ever. So, congratulations. You should trademark that phrase that everyone says.
But fraud, waste, and abuse.
Or waste, fraud, and abuse, or abuse, fraud, and waste. I like fraud, abuse, and waste. Fall or waff.
And he's doing an amazing job. And
he's doing great. He got rid of that guy who was doing that thing that was totally corrupt. That he got the 3-month guy. Psh, can you believe that? Guy was supposed to do. We got a contract for 3 months, and then they just keep paying him, and he just keeps doing the thing he was doing the whole time, and he's probably still doing it. And if you ask him, he's probably like, "Yep, I'm getting paid to do the thing I was always supposed to do for 3 months, and they're still doing it."
he attracts a
Sorry. By the way, I apologize if I'm getting too hyper specific. I tend to be a bit of a policy wonk.
young, very smart type of person. I call them high IQ individuals, and they are. They're very high IQ and high IQ.
They are very high IQ.
And when they go in to see the people and talk to these people, you know, the people think they're going to pull it over. They don't. These guys are smart, and they love the country. You know, there's a certain something. But he uses the word care.
There is a certain something. I would call it. I don't know if it's loyalty to the United. I think I'd call it Russia first. Quite frankly.
So people have to care. Like.
Yeah, they do. Caring is, you know, some people will say sharing is caring. I disagree. I think you can care without actually doing any actual caring.
When I bought Air Force One, I negotiated the price. It was $5.7 billion, and I got them down to $1.7 billion. Now, they're not building the plane fast enough. I mean, they're actually in default. Boeing, they're supposed to have been building this thing forever.
It's Boeing. You don't want them to rush it. Hurry up and build that airplane that's supposed to save my life on the cheap.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
We don't build the way we used to build. You know, we used to build.
You're right. It used to be concrete and steel and windows with like lead lining around them. We don't use nearly as much asbestos and lead as we used to. It's I don't know what we're missing so many things because of that. Mainly slashers. I think we cut down on the number of slashers in public.
Like a ship a day, and now to build a ship, is like a big deal. And
Yeah, it is. I've heard that building a ship is hashtag a big deal. You do realize that ships are more complicated now than they were a long time ago. You know, I mean, obviously the Mayflower was a fine mamma jamma. What a silhouette that thing had, huh? But I'm just saying, you know, a modern aircraft carrier probably fairly complicated. It's like the size of like 8 city blocks, and it floats.
we're going to get this country back on track. We can do it, but so many things. It takes so long to get things built and get things done.
Yeah, slap it together. Fuck it. Who cares? Balsa wood and some bubble gum. Let's get this thing in the air.
And a lot of it could be something we've been discussing. The regulators go in and they make it impossible to build. They make it very difficult to build any.
Yeah, these assholes. Oh, you want the ship not to sink. Oh, the airplane has to stay in the sky. Oh, you have to be able to lean up against the wall in a high rise and not fall to your death. What a bunch of assholes.
Whether it's a ship, a plane, or a building, or anything.
Yeah, those are the 3 I covered.
And some of them do it because they want to show how important they are. Some of them do it maybe because they think they're right.
Maybe.
They use the environment to stop progress and to stop things. It's always the environment.
Yeah, fucking drinking water. Who needs it?
It's an environmental problem. It's not an environmental problem at all. But they do a lot of things. And by the way, speaking of that, Lee Zeldin.
Also, there's no holdup on Air Force One because they're having to deal with environmental permits. Shut the fuck up. Nobody is standing. There's not a guy standing out there at Boeing with a clipboard going, "What's the carbon footprint on these engines? We have a very fluid target that we set forth in a presidential directive from 10 years ago based on early science." What is it? It's fuck off. Okay, F. How do you spell that again? I'm sorry. I will. All right.
Is going to be fantastic in the position. So important. He could take 10 years to approve or disapprove something, or he could do it in a month.
And what would be the difference? I think, you know, for clean air, clean water, national parks, pollution, people with asthma.
You know, just as good.
I don't know. I think there's a middle zone there. I think you probably maybe 12 months for a big project.
And I think you're going to see a fantastic job done by him. He's
a fantastic job. He's going to do a fantastic job done by him.
He's a tremendous guy.
Newt, you echoed something when I just met you, and it was very similar to what Newt has been saying, that he brought this country.
All right, now, Sean, you're boring me. I mean, you can't follow up Trump's rambly nonsense about fucking the Green New Deal is fucking up the contract timing on Air Force One.
To the dance. This is the opportunity to be transformational and to have, I would argue, the most consequential presidency. If we really dig.
Yes, there will be consequences, Sean. You are right. Yeah. Yeah, there will be some find out in this fuck around.
Down and do something that had never been done before, and that is get rid of.
That is get rid of vaccines. Get rid of the fucking. Why do cars need brakes anyways? All they do is slow you down. You know.
This bureaucracy, and I'm going to get to the specifics.
Excellent. But do you really want to get to specifics? It's gonna fuck up the flow of the interview.
Say the same thing. It's not done yet. And what do you mean by that?
I mean, winning the election is really the opportunity to fix the system. It is not fixing the system itself. So it's.
As much as Trump, I think Trump would beg to differ on that. I'm fairly certain he thinks that everything was magically fixed just by him showing up. And you're saying not only does it suck to have people know that you know him, but also he's full of shit? Oof. Why is the camera not on him right now?
The opportunity to fix the system and to restore the power of democracy. And, you know, people like it's funny how often when these attacks occur, the thing that they're accusing the administration of is what they are guilty of. They're saying that things are being done unconstitutional, but what they are doing is unconstitutional.
No. The funding was passed by the Congress, and then there's a certain amount of discretion in the lead agencies once the president takes over. That's just prioritization.
They are guilty of the crime of which they accuse us.
That's always the first thing they do.
Yeah.
He's in violation of the Constitution. They don't even know what they're talking. Well,
It's
they
absurd.
know. It's just a con job. It's a big con job, and
It is the con. Yeah, it's the con. That's what we call the Constitution in my household. We call it the con job.
they're so bad for the country.
It's your job to know the Constitution. We call it the con job.
It's
Sure.
so dangerous and so bad.
It is so bad and dangerous.
And the media is so bad. When I watch MSNBC, which I don't watch much, but you have to watch the enemy on occasion.
Yeah, you do. You gotta. I mean, you're in the middle of your day being president of the United States, and you gotta go, gee, I wonder what Rachel Maddow is saying about me right now. You have to. You know what I mean? It's not like you have a staff that can, generalize, put the talking points of what's happening in the news into an easily read form that you can kind of peruse before bed, and you can focus on something else. I don't know, read some literature or something to broaden your mind and your soul while you're president, and and deal with the facts on the ground as they come.
The level of arrogance and cheating, and
Jesus Christ, you're just going to out yourself in every area?
they're just horrible people. These
They
are
lie.
horrible people.
Oh, it's horrible. They don't like it. And the food is so terrible and such small portions. They talk about me all the time, and they're never nice.
Oh, conspiracy
Liars.
theories.
And they start up with the Constitution. They couldn't care less about the Constitution. CNN, likewise. I mean, I watch them asking questions with, the hatred with the why.
Yeah, the hateful questions. It's hate speech. That's what it is. I mean, you should take away their license.
I said, why are you asking the question with such anger? You're asking me a normal question, but you see the bias. The bias is so incredible.
Oh, it's such incredible bias about the thing, especially with the guy that had the contract for 3 months, and they're like, what the hell? And I'm like, he did. And they're like, what did he do? And you're like, why are you yelling? Because you keep bringing it up, fuckwad. Why'd you call me a fuckwad? Because you're a fuckwad. And then you're like, we have to go to break. It's just so much.
Those two are bad. PBS is bad. AP.
Fucking Elmo. Always on my, Wait! Did somebody mention PBS? Listen, I got a fucking job to do here, people. I got a job to do. I'm Matt, your maggoty rat, and I'm here to tell you that PBS, there's a new sheriff in town. All right. I'm here to tell you the president is going to do everything. We're going to make America great again. We'll start with New York. Everybody's going to have as much pizza as they can fucking drag, bitches! Wow! And he's really big on raising that population, so get to fucking rats, come on! We're gonna make this happen! Sorry, I just took a shit on a libtard X account right there. They just did it virtually. That was a virtual Oh, God, that was good. Anyways, I'm telling you, the new PBS rocks, baby! Let me tell you how to get to Sesame Street. Stay poor! That's how you do it. I gotta get the fuck out of here. And scene. I like Matt the Maggoty Rat. That'll work. That could be a regular thing. What do you think? Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you, Matt. Great. Get fucked! I like that guy. I like him a lot. He might have to do his own videos. Matt the Maggoty Rat. Yeah. Rat plus Alf. He's Ralph. I see what you did there. Yeah. Ha! Hey, Willie, where's the cat? So, where were we?
He is bad.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, PBS sucks.
CBS is terrible. I mean, CBS now, they changed an answer in Kamala. They asked her some questions. She answered them like, a low IQ person, the opposite of him.
Yeah, it's the opposite of high is low. He learned that from Sesame Street. Same time he learned near and far. Far. Near. Right.
The absolute opposite. But she gave a horrible.
Terrible. You're losing both of them. Like, I got it. I mean, why do you keep bringing him? He's my friend. I mean, he really is lonely. He doesn't have any. He pays my rent, so I got to bring him to the thing.
Answer. They took the entire answer out and they put another answer that she gave 20 minutes later into as the
Part of her
answer.
word
I've
salad.
never even heard of it.
That is so weird. You've never even heard any of that? Really? Hold on. Do you mind? I want to check something. Let's see. Trump. There's something along those lines. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see. Trump. Let's see. This is the. I think this will probably show the whole thing. Hold on. There you go. Hold on. This is. Yeah, there you go. Never heard of anybody doing something like this.
Is to declassify things that everyone's talking about. I know you talked earlier about it. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. So if you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these. Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It would be interesting to find out what happened there because that was a weird situation and the cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, I'd go a long way toward that one. The other stuff I would.
So that original.
Right, and then when they aired it, let's see, is there a? Do they play the clip? Nope. The version they put is like they just cut it after he went. Yeah, I would.
I thought I heard of it all.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be nice if Sean Hannity was like, "Let me play this thing from Fox and Friends."
Just for the sake of saving time.
Yeah.
Because I can.
Yeah, the nice thing is I've got two guys who know Ghislaine Maxwell personally, and you're both in the room. So I can ask you, I have a lot of questions. What's she really like? This is more of a question for Elon. Are her tits real?
And I've done this on radio and TV. I can spend an hour finding the outrageous amounts of money being spent abroad like USAID. And I just want to mention a couple, but I'm going to scroll it. And
I guess at a high level.
Like, again, Sean is about to do something everybody else has done, which is all the stuff you are allegedly finding by all this digging that you're doing is public record. It's on usaspending.gov. It always has been.
Well, I think it's what the president mentioned earlier, which is that in order to save taxpayer money, it comes down to two things: competence and caring. And when the president was
Trump, yeah, it's funny. I could have said it better myself because he won't allow me to, and I can't.
shown the outrageous bill for the new Air Force One, and then negotiated it down, if the president had not applied competence and caring, the price would have been 50% higher. Literally 50% higher.
Yeah, but you don't have the plane yet, fuckwad. Maybe you're not getting it on the cheap because you can't get it on the cheap. They can't meet their obligations for how much you're saying it costs, because it's not just a fucking 747. It's Air Force One. You should be able to carry on the continuity of the government from during a nuclear war from like low Earth atmosphere in that fucking thing, dummy. That's what it's designed to do. Now, a lot of us are like, I don't know, if this asshole wants to build a shitty Air Force One and climb inside it, let him. I mean, for all the records, the issues the FAA is having, wouldn't it be ironic if on the christening day of the USS Titanic Air Force One that Trump climbs aboard with you and a bunch of other people and that motherfucker ends up upside down on a runway in Toronto or in the fucking Potomac?
The president cared. The president was competent. The price was not 50% higher as a result.
And you still don't have a plane. You didn't get the plane. You didn't get it. It doesn't exist. They haven't finished it. They maybe can't for the price. You don't get to claim that you won by doing this until you succeeded in the task. Anybody can cut the fucking funding for something in half and pat themselves on the back. But if the thing never arrives, then you just fucked the system. You didn't actually get it for that.
And so when you add more competence and caring, you get a better deal for.
No, you don't. And also, this is not competence and caring. The reason, first of all, he's incompetent. Secondly, he doesn't care. If he cared, he'd be more concerned about a functioning Air Force One that does more than what currently is available, because we have a $27 trillion economy in the United States of America. We have a $7 trillion federal budget. We have, 340 million Americans and myriad of foreign investors around the world who count on the U.S. stock market. And if the president dies in a fucking plane crash, all of it goes down. It's a pittance to protect the life and the continuity of the government, just so we don't have to worry about this every time there's a fucking flight. Well, the president's climbing aboard Air Force One, the barely flyable hunk of junk that he insisted be bought on the cheap. We'll see if he makes it all the way across the country. So stock futures are following turbulence across the country, expecting he might turn upside down.
The American people.
But we were talking about this yesterday. I could take.
Oh dear.
Give me thousands of bills. I could pick any one of them.
Yes, exactly.
But I could take all 1,000. And
yeah, all 1,000 of the bills. Give me the 1,000 of the bills. Give me all the bills and the thousands of them. What bills are these? 1,000 bills? You think they pass 1,000 bills a year? What bills are you talking about?
let's say it's a bill for $5,000, just five.
Yeah, that's right. A bill that was passed through Congress, made it through the House, got out of committee, got passed in the House, went up to the Senate. The Senate said, I don't know, but I think we owe it to the president and his supporters to allow this $5,000 bill to go back to the House for a final vote before it's sent on up to the president for his signature, which, quite frankly, the time signing it in terms of presidential priority is literally the time signing it is worth more than $5,000. Not in his case, but normally. $5,000. Okay, there's this one bill they passed, $5,000.
$5,000, and it's done by some bureaucrat.
Yeah, some bureaucrat, Congress. That's how a bill goes through. Sure.
And if he would say, "I'll give you $3," I don't want to pay you $5. It's too high. I'll give you $3. But they don't do that. If a guy sends in a bill for $5,000, they pay $5,000. They expect to be cut. Everybody expects to be cut. When you send in a bill, you expect to be cut. They send in the bill higher for the most part. This is true with lawyers, legal fees. When they
What? Sorry, lawyers bill you for more than they expect to get paid? Since when?
send in legal fees, I can cut. I wish I had the time.
Oh, yeah, I wish you had the time, too. And by the way, you don't pay your lawyers at all, but it's not because you're a great deal maker. It's because your lawyers suck and they know they're not worth it.
Would save so, but I could cut these bills in half, much better than half. But you offer people a much lower number because you know.
Yeah, Grandma, how much cat food do you actually need to eat? I mean, you're slim. You don't want to pack on the pounds, baby. You still got it. You want to be able to shake it at the reenactment of the enchantment under the sea dance that you guys are doing, you know? So, you know, I know this bill allocates that you have $3,000 for food, but, you know, if you cut that in half, eat a little cat food, it's slimming.
No, they actually put fat. I'm not even saying it's like a way of business. They put more on because they expect to be negotiated. When you send in a bill to the government, there's nobody to negotiate.
Yes.
There's entire committees. Yes, they do negotiate it. They all go through it. And again, all he's saying is that the Congress fucking sucks, especially Republicans, that they don't bother to do anything, that they don't do any oversight, and they don't draft up how much these things cost and why, which they absolutely do. And if they don't, then Republicans haven't been doing it either. And there's a reason why you pad it on the upside when most of the time it's padded on the downside. You know, they go, oh, we'll have to get by with this amount, whatever the fuck it is.
Send in a bill for $10,000 and they send you a check back for $10,000. If you would call them and said, we'll give you $5,000. No, I need more than $5,000. We'll give you $5,000. I'm not going to pay any more than $5,000. Make it $6,000. No, I'm not going to make it $6,000. And
this is a real phone call he had? Sorry, asshole. You have a $2 trillion shortfall in the federal budget? And this asshole is going through stuff, and you are arguing that if there's some dude who signed a contract for work that costs him $10,000 to do and make a living on it, and you're like, why don't we cut it in half? Fuck this guy. Fuck everybody. Any vendor that works for the government or whatever, fuck them. Drown them. Buy the stuff, and make them make it, and then if they go, hey, where's my money? This is the agreed price we had. Then threaten to audit them. By the way, the working class people, this is your dude. Contractors, vendors, people who, skilled laborers. He's basically saying, fuck you. Whatever you do with your time, it's really only worth half. You're overdoing it. You're not worth that much. Shame on you. He's worth that much. You're not.
you'll settle for $5,500. You've just cut the bill almost in half.
And that vendor will never work for you again. And if they were the best one you could find, the next one will be worse and worse and worse. And what are you going to do? Just continue to shaft everybody until you get down to nothing?
And it took like 2 minutes. But none of that.
To fuck in a $7 trillion governmental budget, you spent that much time fucking some dude out of $5,000 for a job they contracted to do for 10. They signed a contract. What you're saying is this has nothing to do with the budget at all. This has to do with saving money in the government. This is fuck. My word on a document means nothing. So here's what I would like to say. How about this? How about none of us honor your stupid executive orders? Because that's a contract. And how about we'll give you half, maybe. Give me 2 minutes and I'll cut your EO in half. How about I'm going to automatically ignore half of what you do. Just because it has your signature on it. Fuck do I care? It's not a law. It's a little contract you signed with yourself. Right? We're almost done with this, and I'm going to hand you guys over to our dear friend Boston Brian. Is he on Twitch? Can we throw to him on Twitch? Can we rate him?
Someone call out the art of the deal?
But that's caring. No, it's not even the art of the deal. It's caring.
No, it is the art of the deal, but he never read the art of the deal because he didn't write art of the deal, so he doesn't know what the fuck anybody's talking about. Let me see. Where's this guy? Oh, I see it. I was like, why am I not seeing my Discord? And that's because it's gone. Oh, he's on at 8:30. I see. All right. Maybe I'll go a little long then.
He uses the word,
caring.
it's caring.
Yeah.
It's a certain competence, but...
It's certain competence, but it's really about caring. You got to care enough to fuck people over that have made a contract with you on behalf of the American people, many of whom you've made a contract with.
I think it's more caring than competence.
If you add either...
I think it's more caring than competence. Yes, I think you care more about yourself than anything, and I don't think you're competent at all. So certainly,
ingredient, either competence or caring, you'll get a better outcome. But it stands to reason that if you don't have competence, you don't have caring, you're going to get a terrible deal.
Yeah, what are you, the Wonder Twins of competence and caring? Both of you are full of shit. Trump's incompetent. You don't actually care. Fuck you talking about? This is all image management. Like, where are your wives? I rest my case.
And the problem is that the American taxpayers have been getting a terrible deal because look at the last administration. Can any reasonable person say that the last administration was either competent or caring?
Yes, they passed an infrastructure bill. We haven't had one in a quarter century. The Chips and Science Act permanently stiff-armed the Chinese AI market and their theft of intellectual property for their military. Yeah. Like the American Recovery Act kept people afloat post-pandemic. He got everybody vaccinated. Of course you could say that.
They lied to us and said that Joe didn't have a cognitive decline.
They fully lied.
They said the borders were closed. They said that the borders were secure. They said that.
They didn't say the borders were closed. They said the borders were not open. But we'll split hairs on that.
Right.
You know,
Also, you also said that everybody who was encountered at the border got into the country, and that there are 22 to 25 million illegal immigrants in the country, and there aren't. If there were, Tom Homan wouldn't be going on door knocks on the west side of Chicago trying to find single like criminal aliens, going house to house on 10, 15 houses. They all live in that fucking neighborhood, and you're going to do the biggest deportation in the world, and they all got to go. While you're looking for that guy, why don't you just round up everybody else while you're there? I'll tell you why, because it's all bullshit. Because business leaders want the free workers or the cheap workers or the under-the-table workers that they don't have to pay benefits to, and so you let it slide. You always let it slide. You always have let it slide, and it's always been bullshit. But if there were 22 to 25 million illegals running the fuck around, Homan wouldn't have trouble finding them.
they said Obamacare would save.
They flat out lied.
They flat out
It was
lied.
insane.
Also, no, they didn't. You're lying about that. That's not fair. I don't know that he's lying. I don't think he's actually saying anything. And I think you have to, and this will be a debate for the ages, chat room, but I don't think, I think you have to say something of substance to technically be lying. Okay, so I showed this morning, but I want to show this again because I think it's indicative, and since I'm going to stick around for a couple minutes, so we can throw to Boston Brian, I'd go a little long with you guys. What do you think? A couple minutes? He's going to be on in a half hour, maybe 20 minutes or so. Can I show you guys something? You mind? Okay, I showed part of this morning, but I really wanted to show this is Trump, and this is the part where he was like brain farting all over the fucking place, thinking Ukraine started the war, and everybody's reacting to him like he's saying this from a stable, from a stable genius position. He has no idea. He gets lost in pronoun hell and doesn't know who he's talking about. Is really what goes on in this. But let me show you something real quick, because so Trump signed 3 executive orders. And he has that dude that comes out and hands them to him. I showed you this morning, but I want to, for people that weren't there, I want you to see this, because this just shows how this dude is on autopilot, and everybody around him, for all the stuff they say about Biden and cognitive difficulty and the other people are really running the White House and all this stuff, is absolutely true about this shit, about this dude right here. Watch.
Policemen, police women, and firemen, firewomen.
Firewoman, you're to blame. Fire, smoke trees are rising. Fire. Sorry, whenever someone says firewoman, it's just what happens. Smoke, stack, lightning, baby.
They're here, and we appreciate it very much. You've done a fantastic job.
Fantastic job. People do fantastic jobs. Fantastic job. Fantastic job. Fantastic job. I should say fantastic job, and like no one's ever seen before, more often.
I think it's very important to...
By the way, you're absolutely right. I did indeed nail the notes on that cult song flawlessly. Totally in tune. with no prompting. That's called perfect pitch, people. You're welcome.
State that incredible things are happening in our country. I think we've made more progress in 3 weeks than they've made in 4 years.
Yeah, you didn't. No. Seriously, the Infrastructure Act, you're not going to be able to beat it. Even if you pass your fucking tax cut, nothing this asshole does is going to be as consequential as the infrastructure bill. Nothing. You heard it here, folks. Oh, I mean, there'll be negative consequences. That doesn't count. In terms of work done that will actually positively impact anybody, he's not going to like address the debt in a massive way. If anything, he's going to blow a big fucking hole in it when he insists on his tax cut so he can, try to goose his rich donors into supporting him for another round after, for Republicans at the midterms.
Especially with...
I will Pat Benatar with you any day of the week, Sparks. Oh, that's excellent. Julianne Hayes down. Absolutely, Pam.
With respect to the reputation of our country, and people are respecting us again as a country.
And why is Egypt putting tanks at the border with Israel then? Just a question.
As a powerful country, and maybe a smart country, but maybe not so smart, because when you...
Because you got elected?
Look at some of the waste, fraud, and abuse that's being uncovered by Doge. And the people at Doge, these are young.
Doge.
Often young, but super brilliant people.
They're all young.
Incredible computer scientists and other things. And
yeah, other things. Mostly other things. Childless incels that can't keep a pet alive.
They're finding levels of fraud and waste and abuse.
Like you wouldn't believe, or that no one's ever seen before.
Like I think nobody ever thought possible.
Okay, that's another variation. Sure.
But before we do that, I just want to ask Will to come over. I've just finished signing some executive orders, and
3 executive orders. He just signed 3 executive orders. They could put them on the paper in front of him, and he could tell you what they are. But he's got people for that, and he actually doesn't understand what he actually fucking did.
If we could start with that, Will, you might want to come up here.
Also, wait, somebody, we've got a troll. We've got a maggot troll in here somewhere, I think, that says Biden was the epitome of weakness. Well, that's apparently what Russia thought, and they've lost 800,000, almost 900,000 soldiers in a war that was supposed to take 6 days because they thought Afghanistan was such a sign of weakness that Biden had the guts to get us the fuck out of there, and Trump was too afraid to do it. So if that's the epitome of weakness, then I would assume Russia would be doing a lot better right now. And they wouldn't need this asshole to cup Putin's balls.
Just explain what we did. Thank you.
Yeah, can you explain what I signed? Because I really didn't even I don't even know.
Good afternoon, y'all. A short while ago.
It's just... Also, the bald spot's coming in hot and heavy on Trump. Have you noticed that? The front of it, like, used to take a lot of time to push the top of it back. Now it's just falling forward, and it is just straight up from here forward. There ain't shit there, folks. It's all gone. Like, he's just stopped caring. And the people around him are not helping him fix it anymore. They're not bothering. This is one of those signs that they expect him to keel over, or they're going to participate in it.
President Trump signed three items. The first
I did.
is an executive order relating to the affordability and availability of in vitro fertilization and other fertility treatments.
Excellent. So you signed an executive order cutting the cost in half, and it's basically free now. And if you got insurance, we're making insurance pay for it. If you want to have a baby and you have fertility issues, consider it taken care of. The father of IVF is going to solve this. You can tell by the look on his face that he is expecting this dude to say something powerful about what they did today. They finally solved this issue. You know how Biden capped insulin at $35? Like that, it's that serious. It's that level. Here it comes. This is what Trump's going to do to finally break that line that kept people from having babies. Here it is. The father of IVF signed a piece of paper. And what does that piece of paper do?
These are treatments that have become unaffordable for many Americans, or have been unaffordable for many Americans. And the executive order is a directive to the Domestic Policy Council to examine ways to make IVF and other fertility treatments more affordable for more Americans.
Okay, I got to tell you, my dick just went soft hearing that explanation. So you're going to have somebody draft up a report with ways you could potentially lower the cost at an undisclosed period, maybe in the future, if they're able to do it. Thank you, Joy. Yeah, okay. I think you kept a bunch of babies from being born just describing it that way, you fucking twerp.
Second item that we signed was a presidential memorandum imposing radical transparency requirements on government departments and agencies.
I see. So this is proof that DOJ is not a department, because they're not going to have radical transparency at all. If you do a FOIA request on DOJ, they're not even going to tell you who works there, because it's not actually a government agency. So the radical transparency only applies to the federal systems that exist. And that radical transparency will have to be done without an inspector general whose job it would be to oversee that level. Gotcha. Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. Radical transparency. Fantastic. It's radical because it's opaque.
In keeping with President Trump and the administration's broader commitment to governmental transparency.
Yes. Hey, it says transparency right there on the paper. It's you blind man, you can't see. It says Little Joe.
What this president...
I gotta stop doing obscure lines from The Last Dragon, because people are not going to get it. They just down. Who's the master? I am.
Memorandum would do is require, as waste, fraud, and abuse is uncovered, as programs are canceled, and ultimately as taxpayer dollars are saved, this presidential memorandum would require departments and agencies to make all of the details of that freely available to the public.
Oh, you mean like on usaspending.gov, where the details already exist? Where DOJ is actually getting it from, and they're just pretending that site didn't exist before now, and that they didn't list these things. When you reach that upper level, your mind, body, and soul must be one. It's a sacrifice. It takes hard work. It's a way of life. Kiss my Converse.
Lastly, we have another executive order that President Trump signed.
Seriously. Like, I honestly, there are babies not being created right now because of the dick shrivel and ovary whinging and drying that is occurring as this man speaks. I blame Trump and this guy for the declining population numbers. Solely. Seriously. This guy could make all the lube in an orgy dry up. Like, he could walk into a Diddy party and the whole place would turn into the Sahara. I had like 500 bottles of baby oil, and now they're all dried up.
Relating to independent agencies, this executive order would establish important oversight functions in the Office of Management.
Hear that? Hear that? That's vaginas drying up. Yeah.
Management and Budget and its subsidiary office, OIRA, supervising independent agencies and many of their actions, and also reestablishes the longstanding norm that only the president or the
can decide.
The Attorney General can speak for the United States when stating an opinion as to what the law is.
When stating an opinion as to what the law is. Well, that's true, because other people in government just say what the law is, not an opinion about it. So I think a lot of people just like, yeah, it's not an opinion. This is the letter of the law. It's actually written this way. What you mean is Trump, he doesn't like being VP to Musk, so he wants to be Secretary of Wiggle Room. Sorry, my cat just jumped. What? on top of the TV and just looked at Hal upside down. Awesome, Torby Cat. I that's the response I was hoping for.
Thank you very much, Will. That was the primary purpose of this conference, to explain that they're all very...
Really? And you couldn't do it? So you pulled it. Sorry. You called a press conference to talk about 3 of these limp dick bullshit executive orders you did that start programs to look at maybe a committee that will make a report to lower prices at if they find ways in the future. And that you're the only one who can speak on behalf of the law, even though that doesn't actually change the law. So you're the only person who can tweet about the law as you see it. Well, guess what, asshole? Nope.
very important in their own way.
They are in their own way, not in a way that feels exciting. You all look bored. Oh, God. These are all, they seem boring, but I have to literally looks like he's shitting his pants, which he probably is. Oh, God.
Fertilization, I've been saying that we're going to do what we have to do, and I think...
Really? You're going to do what you have to do? That's what whenever I fertilized somebody, that's what I say. Baby, tonight, we're going to do what we have to do. Waka 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 waka. We're gonna do what we gotta do, baby. We're gonna do what we have to do in terms of fertilization. Really? What are you gonna do? Fly over them in fucking biplanes, dropping seed like a cuttlefish? Like a cuttlefish in a World War II cartoon?
The women and families, husbands, are very appreciative of it.
They are. They all love the fertilization, especially the families, which wouldn't exist if somebody's got to fertilize somebody. Otherwise, I don't even know if we call it a family.
But that was it. I do want to say while I'm up here, I've been contacted by some of the biggest companies in the world.
Yeah, Acme and Yo-Yo Systems. John the Big Booty, you're the weakest person I ever know. Cyberdyne Systems, I don't know. That's who gave us Skynet, right? Tyrell Corporation. They called him up. They're like, I have this idea for something more human than human. My eyes are, I got to tell you, they sting after what happened last night.
And because of what we're doing economically and through tariffs and taxes and incentives, they want to come back into. Yeah,
these biggest companies, they want to come back, baby. They want to come here, and you'll know them. Like, I could say the name, but I don't even have to say them. Big Strawberry, Filene's Basement, coming back. They're moving their factories back to the U.S. Tampax, they're going to roll them here at home. For the red and the white, maybe the blue, we don't know. I think that causes toxic shock. We can't really talk about it.
The United States, and we'll be announcing various very large companies, the biggest.
Yeah, big ones, huge. I don't even want to do it. I don't even want to bring it up because it's kind of embarrassing, like how cool it is.
Actually, and they'll be coming back, having to do with chips and having to do also with cars.
Yeah, finally, Lay's. They're going to make Tostitos here again. We're not going to have to go to rely on Mexico for our Fritos. Make the Frito Bandito great again.
Cars and lots of other things we're going to be.
Yeah, lots of other things. Chips and cars and things that with metallurgical Thanks. I need a new horse blanket.
Announcing some very, very big, momentous decisions are being made. But
Yeah, you're going to announce the big, momentous decisions any day now. Fucking A. Whew. Here we go. He's going to announce these decisions by these big companies you've totally heard of that I've met at camp last year, and one of those companies lives in Canada, and she's totally hot, and she's prettier than your company, and we talk every night on the phone. It's just got, yeah. She's hot, and she does the stuff that I don't even have to ask her to. She surprises me with all the things she likes to do as a corporation.
Companies all around the world, the biggest, and they want to.
All around the world, same song. All around the world, I came to the party to get naughty, get my rocks on, eat popcorn. Sorry. I got to stop singing Digital Underground songs from obscure Dan Aykroyd movies. I got to do it.
Come back into the U.S. Car plants are being canceled in other locations now because they want to build them here.
The big automated ones with no employees. Those. The big ones that have like 6 people working in them. Thank God. Don't worry, Detroit. Yeah, your unemployment issues have been solved. There's going to be a giant plant moved to your state that will be just outside of town and will pull off the electric grid, but no one will work there.
And you read about a couple, not that I want to mention names or anything, but you read about it.
You can't. Why wouldn't you want to mention the names? Why not? Why wouldn't you mention it? It's going to happen, right? It's true. If it's true, you can mention it.
A couple of big ones in Mexico just.
Yeah, a couple big Mexico businesses, big plants. They're not going to have those plants anymore.
Got canceled because they're going to be building them in the United States. And
that's right. Fern Incorporated moving their plant up here.
That's very simply because of what we're doing with respect to taxes, tariffs, and incentives.
That's right. If you don't move your human-free factory to America to make your stuff and not employ Americans where you're not employing Mexicans, we're going to tariff you.
And I think it's a very important thing. And you'll be seeing this over the next, probably over the next 2 years, to be honest. But you're going to see a lot of it over the next.
Yeah, it's not going to happen quickly.
Next couple of weeks, a lot of big ones.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, they're going to make huge announcements about the guy and the thing and the dude with the thing that they're doing. Hold on, I want to set up this thing so we can jump over and raid our dear friend Boston Brian, who fucking rules. Why is this happening with your weird people? Okay. Twitch, you are very strange, and I love you. You're very peculiar. You got a lot of peculiar shit going on. All right, I'm going to throw this over there. I'm going to try and see if I can find it right now. I'm not staring up at the Lord. I just want you to know this. Let's see, following. Let's see. Where's the Boston, the Brian? He's got to be here in a second. Hold on. I was trying to, Boston. Please come to Boston in the Brian. Hold on. I should just grab the link from our dear friends in the chat. There you go. Dunk. Okay, he's holding. It's almost there. Clicked unmute. Starting soon. Excellent. And I am, let's see, I'm following you. So, boss, there he goes. Okay. I just had to grab the name, and we got to do a creative dashboard. And we go over here, and we click on this thing, and we go, and then I'm going to raid. Let me do the raid, because I want to send him a message. Where are you, Boston Brian, you beautiful, crazy man, you? Boston _ Brian. Where are you? Brian. A boy they called Brian. Why would that not be? Okay, under following. Where am I? There he is. All right. Jump in here. Start that raid. Let's do it. Let him know you're dropping in. Okay, I'm going to knock on his door. Knock, knock, knocking on Brian's door. Hey, 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 yeah. Knock, knock, knocking on his door. There we go. Almost ready. 10 seconds. Oh, sorry. Viewers rating in 1 minute and 7 seconds. 1 minute. We got it. Hang in there. Anybody who's on Twitch, send me some bits in the meantime, my love. You good people, do it. Let's make this happen. I'll throw this up here. We'll go to the solo thing. All right, excellent. And I want to thank everybody in the waning moments of the show for joining me today. And I want to thank especially the trolls and maggots for being engaged enough to write stuff in the chat room, because you tell the algorithm that not only do you need to watch me and hate watch, they don't care, just as long as you're watching, but you also need to say shit. And that means I'm engaging, and that boosts me in the algorithm in a way that regular supporters can't do. So thank you very much. Eat shit, and because that's what Trump is serving, and we'll see you guys later on. All right, we're going to raid in 60 seconds. I'll just raid it now. There we go. Raid! We're sending all these people over. Everybody say hi in the,
Make sure you
in the
guys
Twitch
can
chat.
see me again. I was fiddling with some stuff.
Don't fiddle with stuff, Boston Brian. That's nasty. Okay, raid. Hold on. Raid! There we go. Throwing this stuff together. And I'll throw in a love you, brother. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Ta-da! Okay, did that go in there? Yep, cool. And then go... I'll just tell him you rock. Because that's how I am. I'm a mensch like that. Think. There we go. I don't want to knock. I don't want to join his thing. I'm going to let him do his thing. All right, I'll let you guys go. You're awesome. Take care of yourselves and take care of somebody else. And I will see you tomorrow afternoon, 4 o'clock. Remember, the afternoon show on Thursdays is later because family first. And I will see you guys real soon. All right. And remember,
We have to slab it.
That's right.
Heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will our army manned the air. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
That's right.
Captain's log.
The sportos, the motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads, they all adore him. They think
Talking
he's
about
a
me.
righteous dude.